You know, we're gonna do this a little bit of a chit-chat video. I'm gonna go grab a tea or coffee. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. For all of you guys who don't know me, hi, I'm Jazzy. I post college-related videos specifically around nursing school. So today's video is a very highly requested video. I'm so sorry, there's about to be a lot of snorting in this video. Leia just grabbed a toy and sat at my feet. So this is a very highly requested video. A lot of people have been asking me how I do it, how I passed Anatomy and Physiology. Now, I'm going to be very, very, very open with you guys. I failed Anatomy and Physiology once before I passed it. And I took it as an open studies course before starting nursing, and then I retook it when I was in nursing, and then I passed it, but I did fail once. So heads up for those people out there that it's not always this glorious story that Anatomy and Physiology is easy to pass, you'll take it once. No. Of course you want to pass it on your first try, but people fail, and it's okay. It's totally fine. Hi bud, I can't have you on my lap right now. I got to film a video. I'm sorry. Are we okay with Chris being in the video? Okay, Chris can be in the video. I have her at my feet, him here. I'm home alone, so Connor's not here, so they're all like directed to me. Sorry guys, so I had to put Chris down and just quiet Leia because they're getting real loud and in the way. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to make that very, very clear. So I'm just going to go ahead. I have a little bit of a list here on my right, so if I am looking over, I apologize, but that's why. I just want to make sure that I'm hitting all the points I need to and all the things that I want to talk about, so just bear with me if I am consistently looking over. So yeah, let's get started on this video. So number one, for me, anatomy is not always the glorious notes that you see on Pinterest. I know for me, I love those notes, but sometimes I do not have the time to make those notes. Anatomy is a lot of repetition. So for me, that meant doing a lot of cue cards. I'm a huge fan of cue cards. If you've been watching my other videos, you know I'm a sucker for cue cards. I love cue cards. Do we get it now? Do we understand that I love cue cards? So yeah, so it's just a lot of just making the information. There's a lot of information, so just repetition will help you memorize that. Okay, the other thing is too that it doesn't just stop at cue cards. Repetition means like in a lecture, I would type out my notes, or even if I wrote them, they would be very sloppy because I was just trying to get the material down. So when I got home, I would rewrite my notes into that pretty Pinterest notes that you love and see. I would rewrite them, but just because I was making them pretty doesn't mean that it wasn't helping. By rewriting my notes after a lecture, even if it was because I just wanted them to look pretty, really was the repetition for me that was helping me retain all the information. Because in anatomy and physiology, there is a lot of information. And saying that, like even now, I did anatomy and physiology, you're going to need to know it throughout your whole nursing career. But don't think that nurses don't go back into their notes or back into the books. Like we forget things. Like there are even times that I forget certain things in anatomy that I go look back and I'm like, oh, right. Now I remember. Just repetition is the best way to kind of get all the information in your head. It's the best way to learn. You're just consistently remembering everything. In anatomy and physiology for me, that's one part that I loved, is I love work that it's just memorization. I'm that kind of person. I love it when I can use cue cards and notes and all that. I'm a sucker for that stuff. Yeah, so number one thing for me was repetition for anatomy and physiology. Repetition was number one. Because there is so much material in anatomy and physiology, it's a lot to memorize. Even when you're using the repetition trick, it still can be a lot to memorize, especially when you come to your finals. So make it easier on yourselves and use mnemonic devices. Now, mnemonic devices besides cue cards is like the number one thing that's been helping me pass nursing, because I'll just remember these mnemonics. Hi, Bubbas. I'll just remember these mnemonics and it helps condense information. Mnemonics is one of the best ways to condense, especially when you're learning functions and systems. Use a mnemonic to memorize the steps or the accessory organs or whatever it is for those steps. Best ways to condense very large pieces of information so that you can memorize it. Hi, Leia. Mnemonics, I know for me, especially when it came to, I didn't stop using mnemonics. I'm even using mnemonics till this day. I know in health assessment, I even had my mnemonic that I'm going to take into my nursing career. It's nice because even when you get into the nursing field, you can use those mnemonics still to help you, whether it's with medication, in this case anatomy. So just mnemonics is another way of just condensing all that information. Mnemonics and cue cards are probably your best friend. They were my best friends, especially anatomy and physiology. Next, and I've said this in so many videos, practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. And I cannot stress that enough. One thing is to memorize all the information, and then next is actually taking that information and putting it to practice and putting all that information in your head and your understanding into a test. Because your test is not going to be what's on your cue cards. They're going to ask you certain questions, especially in nursing school. They like to ask situational questions around patients coming in with something. They ask those kind of questions. So for me, one of the best things to do was always going on Quizlet. Quizlet has so many quizzes from other universities, other teachers, other students, whatever it is. It's awesome. The other one is if your teacher provides you with practice quizzes, do them. If your teacher's providing you with those quizzes, then definitely do them, because I know for me, especially now as well, I will study my brains off. And then I will go do the practice quiz and I'm like a deer in the headlights. And I'm like, why am I not understanding this? It's because you understand the material. Now you have to take that understanding into a question, because the questions sometimes are very, very, very wordy. And one thing in those questions can completely direct you into a different area or situation or whatever it is. So you really need to learn how to take your understanding, your memorization of the concepts and apply that to the quizzes. So definitely my other thing is doing quizzes, Quizlet, practice exams, whatever you can to take all that information and apply it to your test to help you better understand and get better marks is amazing as well, because you also get a taste of what you understand, what you're going to experience on your test. Also on Google, look on Google. Google always has some practice quizzes and tests as well. There's always a lot of material and resources out there for you guys to use to practice. So definitely practice, practice, practice. Practice makes perfect. So next thing that I would say is definitely get organized. With anatomy and physiology, it is very easy to get very combobulated and just out of it, because there's so much going on, so much memorizing, then you got assignments, all this stuff on top of it. I know for me it was just anatomy class. I do know at some colleges they do have anatomy labs. I did not. Mine was specifically lectures, and that was still a lot. I don't know how people would add a lab into that, but for me it was just strictly lectures, and oh my goodness, there were times where I felt like I wasn't organized and I felt like I was falling apart. So I feel like definitely get organized. Other thing, it doesn't just mean getting organized doing your work. It also means getting organized with like your material. For me, was highlighting and sticky noting my textbook was a huge help. Color coding, I don't know what kind of learner that is, but for me, I see color when I'm on an exam. I see color. So if in my textbook, I'm studying, I sticky note it pink, and let's say I put cardiovascular, and I highlight in pink. I see that in my test, because then all of a sudden I'll get a question about the cardiovascular system, and then I'll be like, oh, and then all of a sudden my brain remembers everything that's in pink. I don't know why it's been a thing since I've been in high school. If you're that kind of person like me, then definitely color coding and highlighting and sticky noting and do whatever you need to do to your books or whatever. Color coding is the best. Don't just put sticky notes in, color code everything. And that's at least how I do it, and I love it. But yeah, so I would say that is like one thing, is getting organized when it comes to anatomy and physiology. It is very easy to get disorganized and get all flustered, so definitely get organized. Not just using a planner, but the way that you do your notes, or the way that you get your textbooks, and the way that you organize your lecture notes. Make sure everything's easily accessible, because trust me, you're going to be flipping back. When it comes to anatomy and physiology, you are going to be flipping back to those class notes or in the textbook, and it's just easier to just open to the page than to have to go and look through everything. Lastly, this is one of the most important things, and people are probably, when they hear this, are like, yeah. But it's not because you would think that it would be something very simple, but I know a lot of even friends of mine who don't, and it shows. Go to your classes. Go to your classes. You might even sit in your lecture and be like, I didn't learn anything. There have been labs I go to where I'm like, I really feel like I didn't get any information. Then I'll remember something later on and I'm like, right, my teacher touched on that in our lecture, but it's not anywhere in the textbook or anything. If you go to your classes, you'll find that your teachers give you the answers. And a lot of the stuff that they're saying is what's going to be on the tests, or you're going to have to know. Then having to make sure you know every little thing, why wouldn't you just go to class and figure out exactly the things that you need to know? So that was one thing. I have a lot of friends that do not go to lectures, and it shows. It really does show, and they do struggle. Some of them, it's because they don't want to. Others, it's literally they have work or other things going on. But if you are able to go to your class, go. I know sometimes you might want to sleep in, and especially when you have those early morning classes, you're probably like, I would rather stay in bed. Trust me, I've been there. But it is so beneficial to go to your classes because they really do set you up for success. When I did Anatomy and Physiology the first time when I failed, I did it online. It was an online class, specifically online, I guess you could say like a fast track, like you do it on your own, and it was very difficult. It was very difficult to do it all by myself. They gave me practice tests, they gave me kind of what I needed to go through every week, and then you would just book like when you had to do your exams, which seems awesome. But when it comes to anatomy and physiology, I didn't realize how difficult it was until I ended up going back when I started nursing, my actual nursing school, and added anatomy and physiology to my course load. And I actually had lectures, and it was so helpful having that teacher than having to do it all by myself. But it definitely made a big difference. So like I said, go to your classes, guys. You won't regret it. Self-explanatory, but you'll be surprised how many kids do not go to their classes, and you'll find that it is really beneficial. Obviously, things happen. You can't make it to every single one. We get sick. Things happen. I get it. But if you have the choice, trust me, if you get out of bed and you get in that car and get to the college, then trust me, you're already awake. And most of the time when I find that like I want to skip a class, if I would have stayed in bed, I probably wouldn't have fallen asleep anyways because my mind's already up, right? You got this, you can do it, get your butt to class, you can do it, I believe in you. I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about for anatomy. Those are the 5 things that really helped me pass anatomy and physiology. But at the end, no one can do your work for you. It's totally up to you. It's up to your motivation, your commitment to doing this and passing the course. These are just some little tips and tricks that can help you pass, but it is on you, and I know you got this. I know you can do it. We've all been through it, and I'm rooting for you. I know you guys can do it. I know if you guys are watching this video, you're probably just starting or retaking it, whatever the case is, you got this. We all make mistakes. Like I said, I failed my first time, and here I am now. Like, it's not always the end, so just keep that in mind, and I do believe that you guys got this. Whoa, the sun is gone. Okay. Well, at least I've recorded this at a good time, I guess. But yeah, saying that is my tips and tricks on passing anatomy and physiology for you guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I plan on making more videos like this. I just posted, and I'll put the link down below, my tips and tricks on passing basic health assessment. So definitely take a look at those. But yeah, these are all my little tips and tricks that help me. Like I said, I failed once, passed the second time, so I kind of learned from my mistakes the first time, and I learned what worked best for me. So I'm passing this on to you guys, and I hope that it helps you. Of course, if you guys have any questions at all, do not be afraid to reach out. You can always reach out to me in the comment section down below or on Instagram at thejasijournal. Do not be afraid to ask me any questions, okay? We are in this together. I got you. We can do this. I believe in you, like I said. But that is the end of our video. I hope this sheds some light on anatomy and physiology, on what you can expect, how to prepare for it if you are a new nursing student. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, I really can't talk today. I think it's the coffee. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Also, comment down below any questions or video ideas that you guys may have. I always love listening to your guys' ideas and everything like that, so don't be afraid to comment down below. But yeah, oh, and don't forget to follow me at The Jazzy Journal on TikTok and Instagram. That is all, guys. I wish you the best of luck in your anatomy and physiology endeavors, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.